One of the things that's really unique about the last 100 years is the number of advances in medicine. Medicine makes it possible for us to learn things about life and what's beyond life that 300 years ago, people would have just only imagined. Recently, we've had the opportunity to resuscitate thousands of people who actually died. So if you were going to try to determine whether or not the afterlife is real, whether heaven is real, whether God is real, these people might be a really good source of information. Their experiences are so unique. And that, in fact, is what scientists have been doing. So let me give you a couple of examples, just a few of the studies that have happened recently. In 2004, there was a study, or 2014, there was a study in England at the University of Southampton of 2,060 people who died of cardiac arrest. Now, of these, 330 were resuscitated. 140 of them participated in the study. And what did they have to say? 39% said that they were aware while they were being resuscitated by doctors, and 13% felt separated from their bodies. A study in America, this is the data that was collected by the Center for Perpetual Studies at the University of Virginia Medical School. Okay, so these aren't just casual studies, these are by medical professionals. Their study said that 48% of the people who experienced near-death experiences, i.e. people who died and were resuscitated, 48% saw their own bodies from a different vantage point. That's pretty incredible. 42% of people experiencing them reported encountering other people, some of whom they didn't even know. And others saw things from a distance during their out-of-body experience that were later confirmed as factual. This is pretty incredible stuff. A bigger study of over 1,000 people surveyed of people who encountered near-death experiences and what they call after-death experiences, people who were pronounced dead. This study showed that of the people who had these experiences, 77% experienced incredible peace, 75% had an out-of-body experience, 65% saw a light, 60% experienced altered space or time, 57% saw other deceased people or beings, 51% described an unearthly realm, and 33% felt like they were passing through a tunnel. And a follow-up survey of several of these people, about 420 of them, said that 40% experienced the presence of God. This is pretty incredible stuff. What's also incredible is the experience, or the effect rather, that these experiences had on people. So in the Near-Death Experience Research Foundation study that was over 1,000 people, before they had their near-death experience, 39% of people said that God definitely exists. But after their experience, the number skyrocketed to 73%. It changed their lives. Then you kind of have to ask, well, what effect did it have beyond changing their perspective on God? Well, it actually changed the way they live. It changed the way they view people. It changed their priorities. It changed how they viewed their lives. It had a profound effect on them. And these are people substantially who experienced, a heavenly realm. But it's pretty interesting that 20% of the people actually experienced isolation, separation, damnation, and hell. That's pretty scary. When I think about all these studies, it causes me to remember a story in the Bible, Luke 16. If this is a parable, which I don't think it is, because if it were a parable, it's the only parable that Jesus actually gives people's names. But Jesus described a rich man and a poor beggar. The poor beggar's name was Lazarus, not the one that he rose from the dead, but this is a poor beggar. Both of them died. Both of them went to Hades. The poor beggar was in a place of great comfort called Abraham's bosom. The rich man was in a place of incredible torment. The rich man then said, I beg you, Father, talking to Abraham, I beg you, Father Abraham, send Lazarus to my father's house because I have 5 brothers. Let him warn them so they'll not also come to this place of torment. Then Abraham responded back to him, they have Moses and the prophets, let them listen to them. Then the rich man cried out again, no, Father Abraham, but if someone from the dead goes to them, they'll listen, they'll repent. Abraham then said, if they don't listen to Moses and the prophets, they'll not be convinced even if someone rises from the dead. So I guess the question that we have for ourselves, and the question that I would pose to people who may not believe in God is, we have people who literally have returned from the dead. Are we going to listen to them? Are we going to ignore the experience of probably the only experts available to us on the subject of an afterlife? They say that there's a heaven. They say that there's a hell, but are we going to listen to them?